What's up, SE Nation? Welcome back to another video. My name is Ramzi Marjaba, in case you don't know me, and I am a sales engineer out of Ottawa, Canada, and I just love talking about sales engineering. Last week I discussed why sales engineers should be part of Discovery. This week I'm going to talk about what's the goal, what is the purpose of doing a discovery call. Whether you're a salesperson or SE, it should be the same. The main purpose behind a discovery call is to uncover business or technical issues that the customers are running into that we can help solve with our own technology, not somebody else's, our own technology, and then give them enough information to entice them to accept the next meeting. We want them to continue engaging with us and not just giving up and walking away. How do we do that? There is a flow to a discovery call. I'm going to discuss the flow. I'm going to also discuss the issues that I see, the mistakes that I see as part of the discovery, which can lead to either not getting enough information or lead to customers not being happy with the discovery call and not continuing in the sales process. The thing about discovery calls is that it doesn't start in the meeting. It starts before the meeting. It initially starts by understanding who's in the room. And sales engineers struggle a lot with it, mainly because sometimes account managers don't tell them who's going to be in the meeting. And many times the reason behind that is because sales managers don't know who's going to be in the call. I find it important to know who's going to be in the call because it helps me in my preparation for the meeting. Now, most of my customers are product verification engineers, managers, directors. Talking specifically about the products that I sell, the customers are interested in finding as many bugs as possible, not letting any bugs slip into live networks or in front of customers, and automation, basically doing it quickly and as efficiently as possible. But recently I had a call with a sales engineer leader, pre-sales leader. I knew that he's going to be on the call, so I was able to prepare and think about it from their perspective. And the SE leader's perspective isn't, they don't want to find bugs, especially not in front of customers. What they want to do is prove that their product works the way they advertise it to work. So knowing exactly who's in the room allows you to come up with a set of assumptions, understand what kind of problems that they may have. That way you can prepare the right product that you can offer them and position it in a way that's useful for them. In general, you may not have all that information, as I mentioned earlier, so you're going to have very good knowledge of all your products and figure out how to adapt on the fly, but it's nice to have that information. Not a deal breaker, just nice to have. Now we jump into the call. Now we're in the meeting, in person or virtually, and in many cases, there are more people in the room than what we expected. The first part of the discovery is always introductions. You introduce yourself and they introduce themselves and who they are so that you can understand what they care about. Because if you're talking to a director, they care about something different than a user. But you still have to sell to both. You also would like to know, I personally would love to know, why they agreed to meet with us or why they asked to meet with us. Is it because they're forced to? Is it their boss forcing them to do it and then the boss didn't show up to the call? Or is it the engineer who was hoping to get us in and because he thinks that we can help them and he's trying to convince his bosses or her bosses? If you can get that information, that shows you the dynamics that are going on. Who you are trying to convince. Do you have a champion or will you have a champion? Will you have someone who's champion for the competitors? And I always start every call that I have like, why in the world did you want to meet with us? And I say it like that because I think it's funny. Sometimes my customers agree, sometimes they don't, but choose your words whichever way you see fit. But that helps break the ice. It also helps me understand why they wanted to see us. Now we start digging in deeper into the call. We start asking questions. One of the most common mistakes I see is that if a call is scheduled for 1 hour, the salesperson confused the discovery call with a qualification call, and now they're qualifying the deal, and after introductions and then qualification and then just chatting, asking a bunch of questions, now the SE has like 5 minutes and at the end of the call to do a technical discovery. That's a big issue. Or I see interrogations where a salesperson asks questions, and then at the end they turn to the SE and say, all right, do you have any questions? Discovery is supposed to be a conversation where you're trying to discover as much as you can about the customer, and the customer is trying to discover as much as they can about the salesperson, the SE, and the company that they're working with. Can they trust the salesperson? Does the SE know his or her stuff? And will the company be around for a while to actually provide that service? That's the mistake that I would hope everybody tries to avoid. Have a conversation with a customer. And it's not the salesperson's fault or the SE's fault, where I've seen SEs are just used to that. So when I work with them and I'm asking my questions, they're just in the background doing nothing, and I have to bring them in. And I've seen SEs who are used to doing something different, but the salesperson is just talking nonstop, so they never get the chance to interject, especially virtually and when the cameras are off, which they should be on. During the conversation, we're talking business a lot of times, why the customer is doing their what business issues they're trying to see. SEs are interjecting, salespeople are interjecting. We're identifying champions, we're identifying decision makers, naysayers, blockers. We're identifying all that, and we're also identifying technical issues that we can have. Like, we're asking questions to make sure that our technical solution solves the problem that they're looking to understand, looking to figure out, looking to solve. We're trying to understand also if they've met any other vendors who might have possibly put in landmines for us. We're also trying to establish trust at this point. And trust is built by asking the proper questions and then answering the questions that they ask. I've seen a lot of times where a customer asks one question, then I hear someone say, before I answer that question, let me ask you this. And then they ask that question, the customers answer it, then they ask another question. Before I answer that question, let me ask you this. Again, conversation, we're supposed to be talking, we're supposed to be chatting, brainstorming, joking, laughing, being serious, all that. The same way you would do it with, like, you would chat with friends a little bit more professionally, but it shouldn't be so professional that it's stiff. We're trying to get them to open up, to share information where they might not want to share it early on in the conversation. You know, and towards the end, we're trying to figure out if we understand their business problem, our solution solves their business problem, and I need to understand exactly what I need to show in a demo to make sure that the stakeholders that are in the room are happy with what they see. If I understand what they want to solve, but then I show them, like, I show a CEO how to configure something, he or she will not be happy on that call. And vice versa, if I'm talking to a user who's more interested in how they do things and I'm showing the, like, here's how the problem is solved in general, and we don't get into the nitty-gritty, they might not be happy. So I need to know exactly what to show by the end of the call. The flow continues after that conversation is done. We have to set up next steps. Are we doing a demo? Are we doing additional discovery with more people? What are the next steps that we're looking to get into? And we try not to leave the call without next steps scheduled on the calendars for everybody involved. And the discovery flow doesn't end there. After you're done, after you shake hands virtually, physically, whatever, and everybody's back doing their own thing, when we have a few minutes, most SEs know that they have to send follow-up notes. These are my notes from the meeting, these are the action items, yada yada yada. The thing that I see missing is that SEs or salespeople have to send those notes in a way that's easily shareable, highlighting the benefits, the value of the solution to the customer. So during the course of the call, we are highlighting that through our questions and through our answers, and that's what we need to share with our customers so that they can easily forward it to their boss, like, look, these are the solutions that they can help with, or these are the problems that they can help with. This is how they can help. And also, that's your way of planting landmines for your competitors as well. And that's how I see it. That's how I see a discovery call go, from before pre-discovery to post-discovery until the next meeting. This is what it's done. And if you have any action items that you're supposed to do before the demo or whatever, you would need to provide that information in a timely fashion as well, based on what you've promised. If you promise to send them information by the end of the day, guess what? That's when you're sending them the information. If you said you need a couple of days to send whatever information or answer a specific question which you didn't have the answer to, that's what you need to do. That's how I see a discovery. Let me know what you see or how you understand a discovery call should go, if it's any different than mine, or if it's the same flow as mine. If you think this video is benefiting someone, please make sure to share, like, subscribe. I thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Peace.